What's up, people? Welcome back. In this first story of the video, we got a guy who was with his girlfriend for 7 years, which is a pretty long time considering what we're about to find out. So he says, I've been dating a woman for 7 years. The relationship has been steady and loving. Early on, we agreed to a monogamous relationship. That's always a good thing. Last night, I picked her up from the airport after she'd been at Burning Man for the last 2.5 weeks. Uh-oh. For those of you who don't know what Burning Man is, it's essentially a giant community of wacky hippie types who all get together in the desert out west to party for 2 weeks, doing a bunch of substances and each other with little to no rules or inhibitions, and it's nothing like Coachella or any other music festival you've heard of or been to. It's way more intense, and the fact that any guy would be okay with his girl going to this place with other guys and not him is pretty crazy. But I digress. So he says, this was her third time going. I haven't been. We chatted during the car ride home, and when we got back, I felt like there was a cloud over the conversation, like we were building up to something. After a pause, she told me I have a confession to make. She said that she kissed a guy, a friend, this year. I clarified, kissed or made out with? What difference does it make? Which she said she made out. She said she didn't feel good about it afterwards and denied his insistence to follow him to his tent. Yeah, right. I took a moment to process this, then asked if something like this has ever happened before. She said yes. Her first year at Burning Man in 2018. She caught feelings for a guy, they made out, and it escalated to her giving him head. My stomach dropped. I didn't have much to say. She also mentioned a time that she was drunk and made out with a coworker. I asked her how she would feel if the roles were reversed and told her it breaks the trust we had. Yeah, no kidding. I don't know where to go from here. We live together. I wanted to take her to Peru next year and have heavily been contemplating marriage with her. I don't feel like I have anyone unbiased to talk this out with. Thanks for letting me get this out. I don't know how to process this. Well, first of all, how do you not have anyone unbiased to talk to about this? It's kind of concerning. And secondly, bro, Burning Man is a crazy place full of degenerates. Trust me.
I know from experience, dude.
If she's the kind of girl who will go to a place like Burning Man without you, then she's definitely not wife material. If you two have been together for 7 years, then I have to imagine she's at least in her late 20s. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And if she is pushing 30 and she's still in this party girl festival phase while you're not even a part of that crowd, then it's probably not going to work out. That's not to say that any girl who's into going to festivals in their 30s isn't wife material, but they typically only are if they're committed to their boyfriend who's also going to these things with them. Girls who are going and partying at festivals with other guys definitely aren't. In a relationship between the type of person who's part of that community and one who's not, typically isn't going to work out. I know this because up until fairly recently, I was one of the degenerates who was part of that crowd. And for a good portion of that time, I was dating a girl who wasn't. The only difference is that was a one-sided open relationship, so we had an agreement where as long as she didn't know about it, I could do whatever I wanted. But she still wasn't happy about the fact that I was going to these places with other girls, and she wanted to try to be one of these types of girls so that I'd only want to do these things with her. But she wasn't, and I didn't want her to be because I actually respected her, unlike the girls I was partying with. I just didn't respect her enough to commit to her, and she deserved better, just like you do. Also, unbeknownst to me until after the fact, because I don't mess around with girls who are in relationships, there were many times where these girls would plan these trips with the specific intention of cheating on their boyfriends who were none the wiser. So there's a good chance that your girl had every intention of doing what she did before she even got there, especially if she did it with a guy she knew beforehand. Your girl seems to be exactly like those ones I was partying with, and I hate to tell you this, but if she is, she's definitely not worth your time. And she probably only told you what she wanted you to know, not what she actually did. Plus, she very well could have planned on doing this beforehand because she has feelings for somebody else, or she's just not feeling the relationship. Most women that want to be single don't break up with their boyfriends, they just do whatever they want anyway and wait for you to break up with them. That way, if you forgive her and don't break up with her, she can keep taking advantage and use you for your attention and free trips, as well as getting attention from other guys behind your back. And if you do break up with her, she gets what she wanted anyway. And once she finds a new guy that she likes better, which might be this person she was cheating with at Burning Man, she's just going to continue to progress things with him until she locks him down and break up with you anyway then. If she already did this multiple times and admitted it, and you forgive her, what incentive does she have to never do it again? Do you really want to be that guy at your girl's office Christmas party with everyone staring at you, knowing the kind of things that your girl does behind your back, laughing to each other under their breath, having to shake the hands of people in her office not knowing whether she might have banged them or not? It sounds miserable, and that's exactly the position she's put you in. I've seen guys like this. I've been to the weddings of guys like this as the bride's guest. It's not good, nor were the marriages, which is why they didn't work out. So if you have money for trips to Peru, then use it to take some other girl who's actually worth it. Or take one of your boys and have a much more memorable time as a guy who's newly single and ready to mingle. So this poster has an edit that says, "She was remorseful while telling me. She feels like she betrayed our relationship. She shed some tears, and my heart feels pretty calloused right now, so I didn't go into her emotional state when originally writing my post." Let me just tell you this, my friend. Those tears are fake. Girls can turn them on and off whenever they want, especially when they've done something terrible and want to manipulate you, which is exactly what she's doing, and it seems like you're falling for it. So keep your guard up and cut off all contact with her. Obviously, if you live with her, this is going to be difficult at first, but you need to find a new place and start a new life with her in the past. If she knows she can manipulate you, she will. So just move on and build a better future ASAP. Life is too short to waste on this nonsense, and she's going to regret her decisions, but you won't once the dust settles and you're in a better position down the road. Take this as a life lesson learned and find somebody better next time, but no more Burning Man chicks. So this next story is another unfortunate example of a guy who fell victim to a manipulative, selfish turd. He says, "My long-distance girlfriend broke up with me in May and ghosted me. In August, she reappeared as if nothing happened. She was all hugs and kisses and I love you and miss you, but she maintained that we had broken up and agreed that we're not committed or girlfriend and boyfriend. She shared her problems with me and I pampered her as I always do, trying to cheer her up and all. She said she's given me full freedom to meet with any friend, girl or guy, and she too will do the same. Back in college in 2020, it was like if I talked to a girl or even texted or said hi, she would call me a cheater and accuse me of flirting. Now she told me that she's chatting with some guy from college who wanted to get into her pants back then, by the way, and since I was her boyfriend back then, he couldn't. That guy moved abroad, and now he's in town and asked her if she wanted to catch up. She agreed. I'm unemployed as of now, and the guy knows that we were in a relationship since college, and he even used to call me brother. She said that he's just a friend trying to catch up and nothing else. And she actually contacted him a month ago and he told her he'll be in town soon so they could catch up. I don't understand what's happening here. I told her about my insecurities and she's done it in the past. She got involved with other guys when we have fights, and when I inquired about it, she said, well, what if you weren't there and somebody else was? I haven't healed from that, and she said she hasn't done anything wrong. She emotionally cheated on me. She claimed to be single while chatting with other guys, and those guys flirted with her and she didn't even object or try to stop them. She was committed to me then. When I confronted her, she said she didn't realize they were flirting, and I asked her to help me heal and earn my trust back with actions, but she didn't even try. Now when I tell her how I felt, I tell her I couldn't even sleep, and she said we're not going to have a future this way. So when I share with her that I was having thoughts of deleting myself, she asked if I was trying to blackmail her. She didn't even bother to talk to me or listen. I really loved the girl. Okay, bro, there were so many problems here. First off, in the comments, this poster also mentions how he had some kind of timeline of the events that happened between him and his girlfriend, and how people told him that she sounds like she's narcissistic and gaslighting him and all this stuff, which very well could be true. Based on just what I've read here, it seems like this girl's similar to the one from the last story where she wants to have her cake and eat it too. Only this girl's not even going to pretend like she's in a relationship with you. She wants to be able to get attention from you and have you around for a shoulder to cry on and have you pamper her the way you say you always do, but she also wants to have the freedom to go out and do whatever she wants with any other guy that she's attracted to. As far as her accusing you of cheating in college anytime you'd say hi to another girl, to me that sounds like projection. Typically, when you're in a committed relationship but the other person's constantly accusing you of cheating, that's because they're actually the ones cheating. So she probably was insecure knowing what she was doing behind your back and constantly was accusing you of the things she was actually doing. Possibly with this guy who was calling you brother. If he's a creep, he knows that getting close to you is the best way to throw you off his trail. Obviously, if he can convince you that you're his friend or brother, you're going to be less likely to suspect that he's actually doing your girl behind your back, which is the whole point. And if he's a complete egomaniac, the fact that he's sort of friends with you and getting away with convincing your girl to do this stuff behind your back is going to give him even more of a thrill, because it'll give him the sense that he has some sort of power over you and her. Some pathetic people are like this. But it's also possible that you suspected this guy was trying to get with your girl when he really wasn't. He actually was just a nice guy trying to be friends with you, and now that your girl's broken up with you, she's going to use this as an opportunity to get with him. But he might not have had any intentions until now. I had a situation once where I went out with a group of my friend's coworkers. Two of them were a couple who I'd never met until that night, and they ended up breaking up, and he was blaming me for it when I didn't even know them and had nothing to do with it. The only interaction I even had with them was when I bought everyone a round of drinks, including him. So for months after that, I would hear these stories from mutual friends about how much this guy hates me for God knows what reason. I even let him borrow a pair of pants that night because for some reason he didn't have any. I couldn't have been nicer to this person. And a few months later, I did end up hooking up with his ex-girlfriend after the fact, but he was talking about how much he hated me and how I ruined his relationship long before that. So my point is that sometimes you might suspect things when you really just don't know what you're talking about. Or maybe you're picking up a vibe from your girl and thinking the guy's up to something when really he's clueless. But what do you expect him to do if she's single? Which brings us back to this story, and regardless of what his or her intentions were back when you were actually with her or now, it doesn't matter because you need to just get away from this girl and stop letting her mess with your head. I know this situation is tough, but more often than not, you can't change people and you just need to know when to cut your losses. Don't try to be the nice guy, which seems like the logical thing to do, but showing a girl how great of a guy you are isn't necessarily going to make her be the type of girl you want. And giving up your friends and time every time she comes crying is only going to result in her having less respect for you. So what you need to do is accept that this person is toxic, let her go on her way and do whatever she wants, stop convincing yourself that you're in love with her and spending time with her, focus on becoming a more confident, stable, and desirable guy, and sooner or later you'll look back on this as a positive life lesson and not even be worried about it. Now, as I mentioned before, the guy who posted this said other people told him that they thought she might be a narcissist. If she actually is, then as soon as she sees he's happy without her and she's not getting attention, she very well could try to suck him right back into this cycle of nonsense. That's why he needs to completely cut contact and focus on him. He also said that he pretty much gave up his friends for her and that he was currently unemployed, all of which are factors contributing to his negative mental health. So what he needs to do is get some new friends or make up with the friends that he lost, make sure he secures those relationships and doesn't give up on them the next time a girl comes around, because those are the people who are going to help him get through this kind of stuff. And if he doesn't have those friends for support, he's only more likely to be negatively affected by all this stuff he's dealing with. He needs to get in the gym or work out at home and get a routine going, which will keep his mind off of things, release endorphins, and have him feeling good about a goal that he's accomplishing. He also needs to try his best to get a job so he can meet some more people there and make some money, which will give him more funds to meet other people outside of work, especially new girls. And if he does all of that, he's going to be better off sooner than later. Now, I actually reached out and had a bit of a back and forth with this guy about the whole situation, and luckily, he said he's committed to exercising daily and that he wishes her well, but he's moving on. He also said that he knows that it's going to take some time, but eventually he's going to be better off. So good for him. I hope you stick with it. And to anyone else with a similar problem who's watching this, hopefully you got something beneficial from this video too. But thanks for watching, rating, or sharing this video, and subscribing. Feel free to check out the rest of the channel for more. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you later. Peace.